The Lion King is a total Disney masterpiece, but like with many movies, there were some scenes that got cut and didn't make it into the version we all know and love. One of these deleted scenes is called The Madness of King Scar, and it's actually pretty intense and dark. In the movie, we know Scar did the unthinkable. He killed his own brother Mufasa just to grab the throne and become the new king. Then, he made things even worse by banishing Simba from the Pride Lands. But after that, the movie doesn't really show us much about what Scar was like as a ruler and how he was dealing with being king. We can obviously tell he was a terrible king, since the Pride Lands went from being lush and vibrant to pretty much destroyed and barren after he took over. He was nothing like his brother, who was an amazing leader. Mufasa was respected by pretty much everyone in the Pride Lands, and they looked up to him. We definitely can't say the same thing about Scar. The lionesses didn't respect him, and he didn't inspire any loyalty in anyone. The animals of the Pride Lands saw him as a tyrant, someone who ruled with cruelty and oppression, and not a true benevolent king. That's when his paranoia started to kick in and completely consume him. In the deleted scene, there's a song called The Madness of King Scar, which was meant to take place during that period of his crumbling rule. The song really digs into his deep-seated insecurities, his fragile ego that was easily hurt, and his dangerous need to be constantly admired and praised. It follows the same melody as Be Prepared, which we all know is a pretty sinister song, but The Madness of King Scar has an even more twisted and unsettling tone to it. It really gives you a glimpse into how Scar's mental state was deteriorating as his reign fell apart. The deleted scene kicks off with Scar, in a fit of frustration, venting to poor Zazu. He's desperate to understand why he isn't loved and admired the way Mufasa was. Zazu, being the blunt bird that he is, lays out the reasons for him. Apart from the obvious reason that Mufasa was genuinely respected by all the animals, Zazu reminds Scar that Mufasa had something Scar doesn't: a beloved and loving family, and a queen who stood by his side and supported him.
Adoring subjects, respect of your species, a loving family, a devoted queen. Shall I go on, sire?
This whole thing about having a queen really sticks in Scar's mind, and a light bulb seems to go off. He suddenly realizes that having a queen could be his ticket to more power and make him seem more legitimate in the eyes of the Pride.
Yes, I need a queen.
A what?
She would rule by my side. We'll have cubs, little Scars running all over the place. My heirs, my descendants, my lineage. I will be immortal.
That's when he sets his sights on Nala as his potential queen. He starts singing and tries to use whatever charm he thinks he has to convince her to take on the role, but Nala is understandably completely disgusted by the idea. She's already incredibly frustrated with Scar's terrible leadership because the Pride Lands are practically dying, and the other lionesses are starving and suffering under his rule. As the song progresses, his desperation turns to aggression and a kind of menacing insistence. He invades Nala's personal space, backing her into a corner. Nala, being the strong and independent lioness that she is, isn't about to let him get away with that. She fights back and scratches him across his face in defiance. This act of rebellion is what ultimately leads to Nala's exile from the Pride Lands. Scar, fueled by his wounded ego and rage, basically declares that if she refuses to be his queen and submit to his will, then she simply won't have a place in the Pride Lands no more.
Let the Pride be my witness. I choose Nala as my queen.
And I reject you.
Either be my queen, or be forever banished from the Pride Lands.
The reason all of this intense stuff didn't make it into the final cut of the movie is pretty simple. It was just too dark for a family-friendly movie. Scar's behavior towards Nala in that scene is downright creepy and uncomfortable, and it would have definitely made the film a lot more intense and possibly disturbing for younger viewers. It might have even changed the whole tone of the movie. Beyond that, including the Madness of King Scar scene would have significantly slowed down the pacing of the film. While it adds depth to Scar's character, it also adds a lot of time to the movie that might not have been necessary. Plus, it would have complicated Nala's departure from the Pride Lands. In the movie version that we all know, she simply leaves it on her own, driven by the desperate need to find help for her starving pride. This streamlined approach makes the plot flow much more smoothly and keeps the story focused on Simba's journey. Finally, keeping the deleted scene out of the movie helped to keep Scar's villainy more straightforward and understandable. In the final version, he's presented as a power-hungry tyrant, plain and simple. We don't necessarily see him as someone who's losing his mind or struggling with deep-seated insecurities, and although there's some hints of it, it's not explicit. However, the deleted scene was really interesting because it gave us a glimpse into the complexities of Scar's character. It revealed that he wasn't just motivated by a thirst for power, he also desperately craved admiration and wanted the Pride Lands to love him and respect him the way they loved Mufasa. The tragic part is that he had absolutely no idea how to earn that respect or how to be a good leader, so he resorted to tyranny and manipulation instead, which eventually led to his own downfall.